We're live. We're already there, dude. We're happening. Lev, yeah, here we are.
Well, also special, we're going to do a voice from Ukraine. Hey, Pegs, at 2:30 today,
All right.
straight from Ukraine to talk about all of that, too. So we got a lot to go ahead, brother. It's you.
Yeah, well, a weekend roundup. Lev is
I
back.
caught you a little off guard with that. You didn't expect.
Well, I made it, and just to kind of, what's that?
No, okay.
No, just to recap, Lev joins us as our second. This is our second weekend roundup where we go over the news of the weekend, where it concerns MAGA, where it concerns Trump, democracy, where it concerns Canada, Ukraine, all the bullshit that's coming out of the White House. The MAGA cult is imploding. We've got this crazy Truth Social post to get to that was 3 pages long, which is absolutely an admission of guilt. We'll get to the Trump Epstein files. I don't even call them. Hi there, everybody. Nice to see everybody coming in. I don't even call them the Epstein files anymore, Lev. I call them the Trump Epstein files now. But usurping that was this announcement in the Oval Office today, which you're saying is theater, where Trump said, "Yeah, I'm gonna arm Ukraine through NATO. We're gonna send them all the missiles that they need." It felt like really Machiavellian. The ends justified the means. Appeared to be a massive U-turn. I literally just put out a post about it, and and as soon as I mentioned it, you're like, "Yeah, dude, it's all bullshit." Let's just start. Let's just start there. What a guy! What a guy! Explain it to me. What just happened? What was that then?
First off, to everybody, good morning. We're not going away from the Epstein files. That is number one. We're going to talk about that, but something really important happened right now. I know we're laughing, but I'm glad we had that conversation, Dean, because it's important that a lot of people right now are, believing the bullshit, believing the hype, and it's not to their fault. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the media, and I'm blaming a lot of the pundits that are spreading right now basically the spin, as they call it. So let's break down what happened. For those of you that follow me or subscribe, read my Substack letter last night, I broke it down very intricately. Told you exactly what the press release, the breaking news, was going to be about today. If you read it, I broke down, said it's going to be about tariffs and sanctions on Russia with a major delay, and it's also going to be some sort of a package to be able to not give Ukraine, but sell Ukraine through NATO, and with this whole logistical complication. So this all goes back to what I've been telling for the past several weeks about the deal that was cut with Witkoff and the Russian delegations behind the scenes that still the media doesn't talk about. This is going back to when Trump came back from that NATO meeting. This is going back to since then, if you recall, every day, including today, Russia has been bombarding Ukraine stronger and stronger. The only difference today is, as choreographed everywhere else, as I wrote in my letter today, that they're not, at least people in Kiev could sleep for a couple of days because now they have what's his name, Kellogg. Kellogg's there to, give the presents, because it's all optics. With Trump, is all optics. Remember, just think about where we are today. Friday, all of a sudden, he announces that he's going to do an announcement. Why? He could have announced it. Why couldn't he said this on Friday? But he announced that. So this way, the media all weekend are now thinking about, oh, something big's about to happen. And then today in the Oval, he makes it seem like the president, he makes it look like he did this whole 180, like he's all of a sudden he's against Russia and he's going to help Ukraine. And if you really don't follow me or haven't been listening to what I'm talking about, then you might think so. Yeah, Donald Trump, gave him this weapon. The media's talking about, look at the shift. He's talking tough against Putin. But now let's break it all down for a second.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, what is this weapons package that he's giving Ukraine? Because none of the media is reporting and telling you that it's going to be worked on. So right now, there's no, it's not like a package what they're saying where they announced during the Biden administration where they said we're giving them X amount of javelins, or we're giving them these many, what's it called, or we're giving
radar, Planeteer. Yeah.
Wasn't that's not the announcement. The announcement is now that NATO has to work with Pete Hegseth. And he said it in the Oval, if you watched it. He said now they have to coordinate with Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, the one that stopped, the weapon flow completely to Ukraine, is doing an inventory list of what they can give Ukraine through NATO, and then they will give it to NATO. And with Trump also saying that NATO might also have to send weapons to other places in the world, depending on what's going on. So it's a bunch of crack and bullshit, because in the meantime today Ukraine got bombarded completely again, shahads against missiles. So when are these weapons going to get there? How many weapons? What is going to be the amount? And again, let's talk about the weapons for a second, folks, because the media and everybody tries to make it like this is some big fucking deal. Excuse me for my French, but it's no big deal, because right now Donald Trump stopped the weapons completely. There is no weapon. So it's like he's giving a bone. Like, it's like, be happy, I'm giving you something. And if you think about it, just 6 months ago, Ukraine was getting billions and billions, getting all. That's why Ukraine was being able to be on such the offensive. That's why Ukraine has been hitting deep inside Russia. That's why Ukraine has been fighting and defending itself, is because of all, not because of what Trump did, not anything because of the EU did. It's because of all the weapons and ammunition that the NATO and the Biden administration put together in the past several years. So again, good or bad, that Biden could have done more, absolutely, but that's not the conversation. The conversation is that's what they're happening, and that's where they're coming from. As far as Donald Trump, he has stopped the weapons. He stopped the weapons completely, not once, not twice, but 4 times. As far so he has stopped the weapons. So there is no flow. So now, if he sends Ukraine, 10, what's it called, Patriot missiles that might save 1 or 2 days, yes. Is it good? Are we grateful? You know what? Anything helps, of course, because Ukraine's in the middle of a war. So even if they get one Patriot missile, I mean, it's better than nothing. But for the media to go out there, and for these pundits on social media to go out there and start running around saying, "Oh, Trump's doing this whole 180. He's now going to." No, show me, show me the package. Show me when it gets there. Show me, what's it called when it's there. That's first of all. Now let's talk about his whole attack on Putin. You gotta be fucking kidding me on that one, and I'm gonna let loose on this one, because you know what? For them to sit there and talk, the media or anybody talk about that he's now being more aggressive towards Putin. We're talking about 2 week Donnie over here, the guy that's been giving Putin 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks to remember all of this nonsense, and now he just after what I reported and told you, now he's playing the long game. It's 50 days, 50 days, folks. He announced the big announcement, as angry as he is as Putin, as all these people are dying. He basically said, for the next 50 days, you could do whatever the hell you want.
2 months.
Too much. And let me put a caveat on that shit. So the Senate was led by Lindsey Graham, was trying to pass a deal so he could put sanctions, tariffs, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm already, these technical words they're using on, not on Russia, but on countries that are going to be buying Russian oil. First of all, you gotta who's overseeing it? Because as far as I know, and as far as what I've been writing, and you guys have been listening to, is that the shadow fleets that China, Iran, Venezuela, they're doing it right now on open site. Even Laura Loomer writes about it. She's probably listening to my substack saying, "What are you doing?" Because Trump's letting them do. That's how he's funding his machine. That's why Russia hasn't collapsed yet. Is because Trump is basically saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do it," but meanwhile, don't look over there. Like, don't look where that ship is going, or where that. So the sanctions. But he couldn't even say the 500%, folks. He couldn't even go that far. That's how loyal he is to Putin, that he even lowered that to 100% tariff. So the big announcement today is that Trump is so angry at Russia because there's thousands, hundreds of thousands, there are people dying every day, and Trump's resolution to this, instead of arming Ukraine to the gills so they could stop Russia, putting sanctions to the gill and stop all community, and basically isolate Russia until they just stop. Because remember, though this is not a two-way war, this is an attack. When you have a two-way war, this is what Trump tries to portray to you. When you have a two-way war, that means you have two countries that are at each other's throat, and you have to find resolution for both of them to stop. This is not the case, folks. This is an attack by a terrorist state on a sovereign country. So for this war to stop, Putin just has to fucking stop. Just stop. Just stop the shooting, take your men, start going back. Ukraine's not attacking, Ukraine's not going forward. The war stops. So when Trump sits there and gives you a bunch of bullshit, talking about how this is a war, how and better yet, he said another thing. He said, and Zelensky, he better fall in line. He better not have put his chest out there thinking now that we're giving these patriots like he's going to continue this war. That's a prelude to when, as soon as Zelensky or Ukraine complains that they're either not getting weapons quick enough or something's happening, he's going to call them ungrateful, just like he called his mega base. Just like I wrote out there, he called his mega base, he called them ungrateful son of a bitches, ungrateful fools, ungrateful people for how dare they attack Pam Bondi and do what they're doing. So I'm sorry for my anger in the red, because I know, we usually try to keep this a little bit fun.
I didn't know that. I had no idea we try to keep this clean. That's news to me. I really appreciate it. Lev, you're blowing it up. I mean, in a really good way. And your insights, because of your connections with, the Trump regime, people inside the White House, your connections with people still in MAGA, your connections in Ukraine, your Voice of Ukraine, Substack Live you do with Alex all the time, which everybody needs to go and subscribe to it. You can see the false flags, you can see the false promises, you can watch this whole thing play out. What was presented to us in the Oval Office this morning with Root, the Consul General, Secretary General of the UN, who was sitting right next to him, going, "Yes, sir, Mr. Trump. Yes, sir, Mr. Trump. This is great, Mr. Trump." What was suggested there was a major U-turn, and you being able to parse this together, and I actually put that in my post. I said, "What's responsible for this U-turn?" Isn't a U-turn whatsoever. It's more interference, it's more distraction, it's more delay, because until the weapons show up and until the sanctions and tariffs start to bite, you don't believe a fucking word of it. And to your point, you can actually point to the strategy that he's using, which is we're going to give you 50 days. So he's got now 2 months worth of runway to replenish, resupply, re-strategize. I'm talking about Putin in that regard. While they slow play or go over a list with Pete Hegseth, who hates Ukraine, who has a Russian email address, for fuck's sakes, who worked with the Russian government and lobbyists for the Russian government years and years and years ago. And he's the guy responsible for procuring weapons for NATO. And then the other part about this, which I wrote a story about yesterday, this effectively turns NATO into a weapons laundromat for Donald Trump and the United States of fucking America, does it not?
It's insane. I mean, just think about it. Like, it's like you can't even make this shit up. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part, I don't know how you as a Canadian feels, but he's basically now going to treat Russia, a terrorist state, as Canada. He's going to tariff them 100% only.
Yeah.
He's going to tariff them. He's not even sanctioning them. He's not even, but like, we have trade with Russia. I think, what do we trade with Russia? What is that? Well, how does that work, Russia?
Booze.
Caviar. Cool. I mean, so what? So now caviar is going. I mean, this is the big announcement, and this is what pisses me off. That it's like the media right now is all running about it. You look at and they're like, "Wow, this is a major shift. Wow, this is a major shift. This is a major shift." And I'm like, "What the fuck are we talking about? Where is the major shift? Like, what is she shifting over here? Like, I'm saying to you, and it's sickening. And the other sickening part, it's actually doing what Trump wants to do.
Yeah.
Because he's now putting water. He's trying to put the fire out. That what we started this conversation about is what's happening in MAGA. MAGA's imploding. MAGA is what he did with the Epstein files. He needs to change the news cycle. He needs to give his MAGA base something to hold their hands on, because they're about to completely blow it off. So what does he do? He gets the media to now start chasing this whole. All of a sudden, Trump does a 180 on Russia, making him look like somebody in a positive view, and at the same time, he points out that he's not giving Ukraine a single dollar. What he's doing, and that's why he wants to tell MAGAs, look what I did. I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Because a big part of
I'm an arms dealer now. Yeah, right. That's what he's doing.
I'm making money. We're gonna make money off selling it to NATO to give it to Ukraine. At the same time, I'm going to go hard on Putin. So this way, the people in Congress, not his mega base, because this rhetoric talk on Putin is all for the Lindsey Grahams, those people that have no heart, no spineless souls that signed the bill. They gave him what he wanted on the bill, so he's trying to give them a little bit what they want. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. You know what? And I'm glad you said that, because I'm just going to take a paragraph out of my Substack post that addresses this whole thing. You go to deanblundell.substack.com. Lev Parnas, maybe the best follow and sub on the planet on Substack. Go and do it right now. Annual, foundational, monthly, doesn't matter. Just follow Lev. But here's what I wrote to your point. When you're losing, you flip. Let's be clear. Trump didn't find a new moral compass. He found polls. In just the last 30 days, Trump's approval rating dropped from its lowest point since taking office. MAGA influencers, QAnon loyalists turned on him over the Epstein client list cover-up ongoing. DOJ's statement that no Epstein list exists infuriated the conspiracy base spent years cultivating. Trump's true social meltdown calling, which we're going to get to in a second. Epstein, a creep nobody cares about, triggered MAGA's ratio. And memes calling him the cover-up artist-in-chief. And that I want to touch on his true social ratioing, because that is a big fucking deal. Trump's ICE raids in L.A., Houston, Chicago, across the Midwest, sparking lawsuits, protests, resistance, and his approval rating is in the shitter. And I said this wasn't strategy. This was survival, but allies and friends of Ukraine aren't complaining yet. Will cheer when sanctions are actually applied and the fucking weapons arrive. And that is, to your point, I think, people in the know like you and people who are suspect, very sus, as the kids say, of Donald Trump's intentions, don't believe it. They don't, and it's not that they don't believe there's a U-turn. They don't believe he's going to follow through, even with, laundromatting weapons through NATO to Ukraine. They just don't believe it until they see it. And to your point, he's Taco Trump. When hasn't he chickened out? When hasn't he fucking reversed course? And he has done nothing to show us he's going to do anything otherwise. And I want your opinion on that.
Well, it's simple, guys. I mean, this is Donald Trump. If he really wanted to give weapons to Ukraine, he would have just said right now, he would have in front of the Oval. You know what? If one day ever comes, which I don't think hell will freeze over before that Donald Trump really decides to help Ukraine, you will see how it happens. I mean, he will have an Oval meeting just like this, where he will tell Hexag and Rubio and all that and say, "I want it there tomorrow." Now, today, I want to make sure they got the best 5 missiles. I want B-52s over there. I want this, and you will have it.
You mean a la Israel, right?
Take a look at what happened in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying to you? It didn't take long to have our B-2 fly, do that perfect strike and all of that. I mean, so when Donald Trump comes out, I'm giving you guys from somebody that knows Donald Trump, from somebody that knows him very well. I'm not speculating. I'm giving you guys some literally inside information that, because most of you have never met him, you will never meet him, you'll never sit with him, and all your opinions are based off of what you hear, see. I'm telling you, take it from a guy that knows him very, very, very well, okay? Donald Trump, when he starts saying that I will get it done, we will see. We'll look to see how we could fix it. That is Donald Trump kicking the can down the road, basically saying either he doesn't know what the fuck to do, he has no solution, or he doesn't give a fuck, and he won't do anything. So that's the bottom line. Because when Donald Trump is a media whore. He's an attention whore.
Yeah.
Do you think Donald Trump doesn't understand how big it is? If he really wanted to give weapons, he would have him flown over. He would fly to Ukraine and meet the weapons himself. He would stand there as the weapons arrived and saying, "Look what I'm doing."
Yeah.
That's Donald Trump.
Kind of like what he did with the FIFA World Cup Club Championship this weekend, where he was standing on stage and refused to leave. Did you see him do that? He's like, that guy steals more valor from anybody else in the whole world, right? Like, he's even stealing valor from Chelsea Soccer Club yesterday. He's just jumping up and down. The soccer players are like, dude, get out of the fucking way. And he's like, nah, I'm going to stay here.
He didn't want to let go of the trophy.
I know. He is such an attention whore. But it was on full display this weekend. And to your point, I gotta wonder the impetus for this, in as much as it is his disastrous polling numbers. the MAGA base. You know, you touched on it. You wrote a great piece about MAGA burning it to the ground this weekend. You had, Posobiec and Loomer, and you had the entire fucking MAGA verse is turned on Donald Trump. And so you've got the death of MAGA, the impending death of MAGA. That they want the Epstein files more than they want Donald Trump to be the president of the United States. That was the whole impetus for putting him back in office, right? It was like, hey, fuck, I don't care if he's the president. I want to see what's behind those files. And now they're not getting it, and they've all turned on him. But do you think that today had something to do with that? And do you think that figured into the calculus of how he sort of really strategically parsed his words? By the way, Zelensky said, "We're in love with the American people. Thank you, American people, for your help." Didn't thank Donald Trump today whatsoever because he clearly fucking knows. But did that factor into him trying to change the channel? Because I still don't think even this fake U-turn on his intention to supply arms and support Ukraine, I don't think he's going to be able to change the channel from the Epstein Trump files. I just don't, because you've got people, influencers that rode or died with him, that cashed it all in, that destroyed their own reputations over the whole thing, that are in the cult, that the Epstein files, they're not just the holy grail. They're a fucking magic talisman to these people. They've based their entire lives and identities on it. Did that have anything to do with this, or is this just, compounding interest of the disaster, which is the Donald Trump presidency?
So that's a great question, and I want to talk a little bit about this because this is an important subject. Even though it might sound like Epstein files we've been talking about for a while. This is his Achilles heel. This is his kryptonite. If they put a picture of him as Superman. Well, the Epstein files are directly his kryptonite. And we could go over his 3-page truth post about that triggered all of this.
You want to do it?
If you want to do it, absolutely. That we'll go into it and dissect it, because people need to understand. Somebody that myself, I was one of the original MAGA. And I'm not saying it because I'm proud of it. I'm saying it to you because you need to understand that what I'm telling you is, I helped build MAGA. I was part of help disseminate the message. I was there from 2015. That's when MAGA was born. 2015, 2016, on Trump's coattails. And I could tell you one thing is that right now Trump's strategy, because even with the breakup, and we're going to go into the letter, and this is important for you guys to understand, and what I'm hearing from my sources is he's going to be playing the long game right now with MAGA. This is only part of plenty more. Right now, he's going to give them red meat as much as he can of different promises, which is going to really hurt our country through different things, to be able to make up and to make it for it to forget. But with that, he's calculated and underestimated, because like you said, and like I wrote about, that this is a lot deeper than just some kind of crack or fracture. This is an explode. This is like I said, the butterflies are out of the what's it called?
Cage.
Oh, cage. Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you hear me, guys? Somebody said
Yeah. Just a little closer to the mic would be great. Yeah.
So the butterflies are out of the cage. I'm saying to you. So he's not going to be able to stop it completely, and this is why it's important to make sure that we keep our voices loud and clear. We make sure that we speak to our congressmen and senators. Make sure that we persist that we want to make sure that they release the Epstein files, because he's not going to. The second thing that's very important is we need somebody that's going to take charge, somebody for them to vote for, because I'm going to explain something to you. MAGA, no matter how much Trump does what he does, the one thing Trump knows, and we always understood, is their biggest thing that they won't do is they won't vote for a Democrat. So they're not. So Trump, this could be a breakup. But what's important, which I also talked about, is what Elon Musk is doing, and this is why I want you guys to, as they say, watch that space. watch that space, because Trump is going to go after Musk really badly, because Musk is the only fear and only alternative with that third party, even though the third party is not going to succeed, even though there's not going to be, but the only place he's going to be able to pull people away from is the mega base right now that will never forgive him for the Epstein stuff. And they'll go with that. So I wanted to make it very clear,
Yeah, and Elon's really leaning into that too, right? Like he's really leaning into it, and he's leaning into it in a really subtle way. And he's really pulled all those influencers that have left the MAGA base publicly that we just referred to, pulled them over to his side of the equation, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's smart in the way he started, just because think about what happened. He started he started the fire by putting out that tweet that Trump was on the list. Then there was this lull supposed that they made up, which I wrote about, that never happened. Then he came out swinging on the big beautiful bill by again mentioning the Epstein file list, and that started the ignition. That's what triggered Trump to try to shut it down, because we spoke about this earlier, is Trump understood that Elon, has more information. Elon has been a fly in a lot of walls. Elon knows, and I don't know what he has as far as receipts, but definitely knows a lot more than Elon should, just like I know a lot more than I should have. You know what I'm saying to you, because of the relationship and being inside that inner circle. So this was getting ahead of the game. That's why it was about that. It was one part of it. The other part, I believe truly, is, if you guys watched my show with Zev Chavel, your partner in crime, Dean, Zev came out with this incredible reporting about his relationship, Epstein's, with Israeli intelligence, and also the announcement coincided with Bibi Netanyahu being here at the White House, having dinner with him, and also handing him a letter for being, or announcing him for the Nobel Peace Prize winner. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I mean, it's like scripted, like, and Trump sitting there. The best part is, I like he didn't expect it. Like he was such a, oh my God, wow,
Oh, that's
oh,
so nice.
oh, this is incredible. I can't believe it. That's nice.
You shouldn't have.
That you,
BB, you shouldn't
maybe
have.
that's not, so that's what I'm saying to you. So it's all optics. Remember, Trump is, and you said that he's a showman.
Yeah.
Trump is a showman. That's his whole life. It was all about the press, the media, The Apprentice, all of this, even his casinos, even him coming out, it was all pre-planned. He used to call the press as a different person to leak information about himself.
Yeah, John Barron, right? He'd call the
Remember?
press. He's like, "Hi, this is John Barron." He's like, "Are you sure this isn't Donald Trump? You sound exactly like Donald Trump." He's like, "No, swear to God, I'm John Barron. I swear to God." And they're like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "No, seriously, it's me." And I just have something to tell you about Donald Trump. He's a billionaire. And they're like, "What? No, we don't think he is. We think he's broke." He's like, "No, this is John Barron. He's a billionaire. Bye." Like it was just.
You can't. That's the world. That's the reality.
It's the little things that I forget about how stupid he has been in the past, and and that's the other thing. He was already famous. He was already wealthy, and I see it out of him more than anything. The amount of name dropping, the amount of associative power that he thinks he has. If he drops somebody's name, but those names that he's been dropping, if you remember when he dropped Jeffrey Epstein's name about 2017, where he's like, I partied with Jeff, great guy, here likes ladies on the younger side, and then several years later he doesn't have any idea who the guy is, no clue, just a creep. Stop talking about him. But to your point, nobody can, because again, this is the holy grail. And I want to get to the actual Truth Social posts that he put out this weekend. And I need you to be my my Trump to English translator, Lev, if you can.
I know that I've read this post, and I've dissected it, and I want to. I feel like I already I can like a poem portray this post. I mean, like the things that he put in there, because the cryptic messages and codes that he put in for because this post was strictly for his mega base. Had nothing to do with anybody in the world, not the media. That this was strictly for his hardcore cult.
Yeah, it's for the cult. Yeah, it was a lot of bad signals in here, and I can't wait for you to kind of go through them. So he put this out on Saturday, obviously feeling the pinch and the heat. Quote, what's going on with my boys, in quotes, and in some cases, gals, in quotes. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a, all caps, fantastic job.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have the perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. First paragraph. Go ahead. Translate that.
Yeah, yeah. What was that he never dies part? Is he like trying to say something we don't know? Like what do you mean he never dies? Like,
Like he's still alive?
because there is a conspiracy in Mega going on that he is alive somewhere and being held. Like is that I mean is
Oh, so that's a little nudge, wink, wink to the conspiratorial MAGA base who think he's alive.
like he never dies, you know?
Yeah. All right. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and the criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? Now, there's a lot in there. Go ahead, Lev. I think I get it, though.
Well, it's that's his big MO from distraction. Blame Biden, blame the Obamas, blame everybody because what the real truth is. If he doesn't want them to remember is that Epstein got arrested under his watch by Bill Barr. So by his DOJ, not any other. So whatever files are being written, what he combined the two things because part of the whole implementation of brainwashing of MAGA was to basically say those sentences, but say the way we said it and the way he said on his campaigns and before was that Epstein was the link to the deep state, to the Obamas, not that they rolled any files, that he was the link to the child pedophilia and the trafficking and all of this. That's what connected, and that he was like Bill Clinton's guy. He covered up for Bill Clinton, like this was the whole crazy basically that was instilled in the minds for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And just think about how much money they made off of this, how much money off the podcast, merchandise. They sold merchandise with Epstein T-shirts and hats.
Q flags. Yeah.
I mean, I can't even tell you. So basically he's trying to distract here. He's trying to get his mega base angry and remind them, remember the laptop from hell, the Russian hoax, the intelligence agents. And then remember, he's a master manipulator. So he puts in keywords. He understands what makes MAGA angry. It's the words like Obama. It's crooked Hillary. It's Comey, Brennan,
Russia,
Biden. Russia. He knows the key words, and that's what he's saying him. So he's trying to. He starts off hey, my boys, my gals, like hey,
family,
like family, like what's happening, like, and then he throws all these trigger words, they call them psychological trigger words, where all of a sudden he gets them before he gets into the real messaging, what he wants to get across.
So just fuck, you're so good at this. Thank God you speak MAGA. I really appreciate it. The fact you're fluent in MAGA. Isn't it also an admission that these files exist? If he said Obama, Comey, and crooked Hillary created the files,
that's where he fucked up because that's where MAGA's like all over the place. They're like, dude, you guys said in your memo in your DOJ press release that they don't exist. There is no list. There is no files, and now you're saying that there is, but it just was Obama made it, and that's why they're confused. They're like, why aren't you? See, this is where he messed up. He tried to do the message, but he screwed up so badly that by even in his messaging, he laid himself out there where MAGA is like, something doesn't even there. Like he gave him that thing to like that brick wall to come out of the cult. Like it was like like a slap in the face. And like, whoa, wait a second, like what's going on? That's what's happening right now, and that's why it's an important, very important time. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, all of his influences are like, so it does like they're putting out fucking videos today. The libs of TikTok girl, she's like, I'm apoplectic over this whole thing. I'm like, of course you are, because he's telling you to stop asking him questions, and then telling you that this whole thing is real, but it was created by somebody else. And I'll get to that in just a second, where Ghislaine Maxwell is concerned. They created the Epstein files, like they created the fake Hinton Clinton Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. So he's warning his friends. This is what it sounds like. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files if there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement? Why didn't they just use it? They haven't even given up on John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King files. They created the Epstein files, like they created the fake Hillary radical left. I mean, dude, I don't know where you want to start. I mean, he's just admitting that all of these files exist over and over and over again, but he's blaming someone else that did it prior to him being president.
Well, it's even crazier because this is where he's messing up for MAGA, because he's shifting the narrative to a very big degree. Because remember, what he ran on, what was the whole thing about him talking is to expose the left. And now he's saying, but here he's saying, he's trying to saying that these files were manipulated, and there's nothing in these files that makes MAGA or me look bad. He's trying to say he's not on the files, because if I was in that list, because he thinks that that's all MAGA cares about.
They would have released it.
That he's like, they would have released it.
Yeah.
I'm not on that list. And it has nothing. There's nothing that he's thinking, like he's telling them, like, oh, like, don't worry, I'm not on the list. You guys are good. Your man is all good. But what he's not realizing, what he's at the same time telling him, what he ran on and what was embedded. And this is why, Dan Bongino, I'm hearing from my sources, there's some shit happening. Trump is pissed at Bongino. This is not the end of that either. So, I'm saying to you that they instilled saying that it's the Democrats. So here he's saying himself that, wait a second, I have all of these lists that have nothing, that they don't prove that I did anything wrong, but they're concocted. They have to do with all of these, Democrats. So MAGA's like, well, release them then. Show us what they concocted.
Yeah.
Can you show us what did Obama, what's the list that they concocted?
He didn't think they'd ask that question. Okay, well, if they're fake and someone else made them up and your enemies are trying to get you, why don't you release it so we can fucking see it?
Right. I mean, just let's go. I mean, because the 2 days before you said they didn't exist.
Yeah.
They didn't exist. Like,
gone. Doesn't exist.
I love the part is, as soon as he said didn't exist, Alan Dershowitz, it's his lawyer, his own lawyer, guys. I mean, you can't make this shit up. His own lawyer comes out on TV. Not only his lawyer, but he was Epstein's lawyer, and literally comes up on TV and says, "Stop! I swear they exist. The list exists. I seen the list. I'm."
I know who's in it. I know who's covering it up. I know the list exists. And by the way, I'm not in it. And I kept my underwear on the whole time. We talked about this last week. It's like, oh my God, like everybody knows that this fucking thing exists. And he's admitting it exists. And I want to know, do you think that, and there's lots more to get to here. I mean, the left is imploding, which is a lie. Cash Patel, FBI. I don't even know what the fucking left is.
Well, no. Well, the last part is the most important part. May I read that? Can I take?
Yeah, please. Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to break it down to you guys, because this is where it gets really serious and really dangerous. Because all that other stuff was mumbo jumbo, but then he goes on and he reads talk about no matter the success, he tries to pump them up by talking that we're the energy dominance, we have the best economy, the world is safe because he wiped out Iran's nuclear weapon on some more bullshit, which never happened. But he goes through that thing, feeding the base, and this is where it gets dangerous. He writes, "We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority." And this is where it goes. He goes, "The left is imploding. Cash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and the rest thugs and criminals. instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left inspired documents on Jeff Epstein. He continues, let Pine Bondi do her job. She's great at it. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen. Have you noticed in literally one paragraph, he said that now twice or three times that it was
Yep.
stolen? And this is what they're doing. They tried to do the same in 2024. That's what she is looking into as Attorney General and much, much more. So I want to stop you guys right there. One of the things that I've been sounding the alarm bells and that I've been writing in every Substack and talking about, no matter what I've been reporting, I've been mentioning it like a broken record, is that right now, the next thing that Donald Trump is doing, and it's part of his major agenda plan, after he got the big bill passed through, is something called election reform.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of a section of Project 2025 that was written and pushed through by Stephen Miller and Russell Vought to be able to implement that Donald Trump stays in office forever. He is here right now telling him, his people, his MAGA, saying, leave this shit alone with Epstein. Stop going after Bondi and making more. I need them because they are right now working on securing the election for me. Just like in July 4th, he came out and said it on there that my people promised me a fair and square election. Just like he mentions it all the time, and here he's saying it in a tweet that, because just think about it. What does stealing elections, going after, have anything to do with the Epstein files? And he writes it and makes it very clear, and this is the message for MAGA that he was trying to get across. All that other stuff was lots of mumbo jumbo that his rattles.
So saying, stop talking about Epstein, stop asking about Epstein, stop going after all of my MAGA operatives in the cap, because I'm busy trying to make sure I cook elections forever so I never have to leave office and I can make myself a fucking king, and I need your help to do it. That's what you're saying.
And I need these people to do it. I need it because these are my loyalists. Because, see, the problem is he understands right now the base wants Pam Bondi gone. Mm-hmm. So for Trump, he would sacrifice Bondi in a heartbeat. He doesn't have no loyalty. I want you to understand. It's not because he has big loyalty to Bondi. He would sacrifice in a heartbeat to save but he knows that what he's planning, the radical, crazy implementation of election reform that he wants to implement, that I'm hearing through my sources, he needs the loyal craziness of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
Yep.
And that's why he's pissed right now at Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino spoke up. And then Bongino was willing to even quit about this, but to disrupt that, because right now he needs those two, because they're already Senate confirmed, they're already in there, and they're already on their way of making certain election reform situation. And now that he pushed the bill in, and now he has all that money for ICE, which he's not going to start using ICE to intimidate poll workers and stuff like that. And the way they're about to start rewriting rules and DOJ regulations of how to go after, who to go after when it comes to election crimes, election fraud, and stuff like that. This is what this was about. This is what he's saying stop being concerned about Epstein. This is where he thought he got them, but it didn't work.
No.
Because that MAGA base didn't read that. They don't care about that. Right now they don't even care about the election. They don't care about anything. What they care about is understanding why he's covering up for pedophilia, why he's covering up, and what's it called? And and that's why I say right now that's the crack that we all been looking for. This moment.
You know what? I got to say, it's funny. I have a very close relative who is a big Trump supporter, Canadian close relative is a big Trump supporter, which is really hard to believe. I've often said the only person dumber than an American, a MAGA is a maple maggot. Like, to love Trump and live in Canada, you got to be that off. But a very specific person in my life. And all they talked about when they talked about the support of him was the ending of human trafficking, right? These are religious people. These are people that are evangelical, so they're right in the mix, right? Their brains are already, hardwired to be heroes for children and all that other stuff. And I can't overstate this enough. is that and this close relative of mine has since gone nuclear. Well, what did I believe? Like, why did I believe it? Why did I believe that Donald Trump would stop human trafficking, would release the Epstein files if now he says he's not going to do it? And what really hurt this person's relationship with MAGA and is making them question their association with MAGA, Donald Trump, their belief in Donald Trump as a pseudo deity in their life, is the fact that Donald Trump put that 3-page guilty as fuck coded Truth Social post out on the weekend, basically telling my relative, you're not allowed to talk about this anymore. You're done. You're finished. And we need to focus on stealing the election, to your point, which is a great way to actually parse what he said at the end in that threat. And that was a threat. And I never thought I'd see the day when this person, who I love, nice person, absolutely don't share ideologies with them, feel sorry that they've been kettled by that misinformation and Donald Trump and that cone of bullshit, which is MAGA. But this person is finally starting to have the scales fall off their eyes and go, what do I believe? Like, is this really happening? Because I put all my time and energy into Q drops and, fucking merch. And I believed in my heart of hearts that Donald Trump was going to unmask this pedophile sex ring. We've been campaigning for it for a long time. And in a lot of the cases, some of these people that have been devastated by this are good people that truly thought that they were involved in an army that was going to stop child trafficking and open up the universe and end this pedophile ring. And nothing was more important to them than that. And it's really difficult, and you understand it because you were in it. It's really difficult to understate the importance of that in the fracturing of MAGA and what Donald Trump is purely petrified about right now.
And this is what happened. This is what Donald Trump caused. This is what they built and did because, was Epstein involved on some sick, perverted stuff? Absolutely. Was he probably also an asset for some country, maybe even Israel, and using certain, underage, Zev said, to get compromising, like on Prince Andrews or other people? Absolutely. I believe all of that stuff. But the way MAGA was formed and the way Donald Trump and the way Kash Patel, the way, Pam Bondi, the way Dan Bongino on his pod, the way they portrayed it over the past 6-7 years was that it wasn't that Epstein was the bad. Yeah, he was the bad guy, we know, but he wasn't there was people above him. And the people above him was the deep state. And that was the cabal led by the Clintons, by Soros, by the Obamas. And that cabal was into not just, having, underage girls at his house giving him massages, which is bad enough, which is horrible. But they made it seem and expose it that there was a whole, and that's where QAnon came in, that there was a whole conspiracy that they're trafficking, that the Clintons and the deep state trafficking kids all over the country, and they're drinking blood and they're selling him. I mean, there's just some vulgar, some crazy shit that they passed on to exploit. So a lot of people, like you said, really got caught up in this because either they were religious or they love their kids. You go on a lot of these sites and you hear these are people that are breaking through because to them kids are more important than the political MAGA beliefs, because they're like, I don't give a shit. You promised us that you're going to stop, this kids trafficking ring. Where's the fucking ring? Where's the, I'm saying to you, where's the connection? And for him to brush it off the way he did made it even 10 times worse. He could have said a million things, and that's why he doesn't have some big PR firm handling his crisis management. He fixes everything himself because by him saying just like leave it alone and stop talking about it, like it's like no big deal, like what's it called, after all these years showing such graphic videos, graphic stories, making up such graphic, detailed stuff to be able to do it. Do you need the code? 875-196. I'm sorry.
Hopefully that's not your pin. I
No,
hope.
no, that's like another. so so you know what I'm saying to you. He really he and I wrote about it. He this was his biggest mistake that he's
Yeah.
made. That he's made a lot of mistakes. But all of those, see, the one thing that kept him always ahead of the game is he could make a mistake with anybody, but he never made mistakes with his MAGA base. He always fed them the caviar. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, his mistakes could have been because he wanted to impress his MAGA base. It was all about his MAGA base, and this one was a major slap in the face.
Mm.
Major slap in the face.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be the thing. Like, if you were looking for a thing that was going to take down Teflon Don, the Epstein list, didn't think it would be it, but it is it because of his U-turn, his about face, because he's lied to his base. I mean, he's lied to everybody. He's lied to every American. He spent the last 10 years lying to attain power, to stay out of fucking jail. He's lying now. He lied today about Ukraine. He's lying about the Epstein list. He's lying about the videos. He's lying about I mean, how many times have we heard, people in the know like Pam Bondi, everybody else, talk about how many disgusting videos there are? Thousands of videos of Jeffrey Epstein. That, like, and now Ghislaine Maxwell is saying not only are there videos of Donald Trump with underage women, Michael Wolff said he's seen pictures of Donald Trump with topless women of a questionable age. Like, literally just the other day in a podcast, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen them. I know I have them." But Ghislaine Maxwell is getting ready to name names, and she also has an appeal in front of the Supreme Court that counts on the idea that Donald Trump says these files don't exist. So if they don't exist, then she doesn't have to be in fucking
Well,
jail.
well, it's even more interesting. It's even more interesting. So she's ready to name names, and her lawyers have, what I'm hearing from my sources, have contacted congressional people to be able to testify in front of Congress. And who controls Congress? It's the Republicans. And it looks like they're stonewalling now her to testify in front of Congress. So this is just getting started. Like, this is go to blow. The one thing right now, the Democrats need to do, very important, the leadership, is start uniting, start spreading the message. Start uniting in the message. Like, just think about don't and
Well, you're seeing Democrats actually call the spade a spade. Like AOC called him a pedophile the other day. John Ossoff called him effectively an adjudicated rapist. Like, these are big words and phrases and names that they haven't called the president of the United States yet. The mask is off. To your point, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the mask is definitely off, and the pressure needs to be kept on. And right now, the most important thing is don't get distracted. That's my biggest. I keep talking, I keep screaming. Don't get distracted by just like today. Perfect example. Though the media, if you watch, is going to be spinning. The pundits, they're going to be all day talking about. Some of them are already though starting to pick up. I could tell you because I guess they're reading my Substack or they're watching our show right now, because I see some shift happening all of a sudden from some people that were posting one thing. All of a sudden now they're like, wait, 50 days? Like, wait, it's starting to hit them, because they were first posting. I think they're watching our show right now, and they're like, wait a second, maybe there's something more to it. And wait a second, what happened? So because I'm watching the threads and the social media right now.
Yeah, they change. Yeah, they are. Well, you see, I see a lot of people that are actually writing about it have been watching the show over the past hour, 45 minutes. So it's probably part of it is like, I got to check in with Lev to see if it's real. What's that?
Which is great, which is,
Yeah.
and this is what it's all about. This is why, I want to thank all of you subscribers and all of you paid subscribers out there that allow it to happen, that allow us to do this, to be able to give this information without no paywalls or any of that, because that's the important part. What I'm here to do is pass on a message, to show you the insight, give you the information that the media is not going to tell you, report on, or talk about, and stop it before it goes further. Because now information is knowledge. knowledge. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. Information is power. So the more information we can spread out there, the truth, the more it will defeat all of this misinformation and disinformation, because the war we're fighting today is not just on the battlefield like Ukraine is with missiles. The number one war we're fighting right now around the world in 2025 is the war of misinformation and disinformation. And that's why the information that you get is key to be able to fight all of this.
Yeah. And why it's super, super important to follow people like Lev Parnas at substack.com. He is a truth teller, and he doesn't paywall this, and we're not going to paywall this podcast ever. And that's why paid subscribers and free subscribers are also important to us, because we want to be able to continue the work of informing you, affirming your beliefs and values, and bringing people together. And the real importance here isn't just smashing hearts, it's also sharing this kind of content, to your point. Where now, like I said, my MAGA relative is now looking for information outside of her echo chamber. And I was so grateful to see that. And, I'm going to send this to that person. I would encourage you to give subscriptions. Lev's Substack is a great subscription to gift. This one, where we go over the information, we kind of decamp it from the weekend to kind of put you right for the week, so we can share this information with you. We're in Canada. There's like a bubble of information over American ecosystem of mainstream media right now, where you're not getting these conversations. You're just getting major U-turn on Ukraine. Trump gives it to Putin. No. As Lev said, do not get distracted from the game. Don't get distracted from making sure that you feed that Epstein list back to him and his base. Don't get distracted from knowing exactly the strategy in Ukraine. Let's buy some time. Let's look like we care. Don't get distracted from his disapproval numbers. Don't get distracted from facts. Don't get distracted from the truth. And please make sure you subscribe to Lev. Make sure you subscribe to myself, Zev Shalev, narrative.org as well, who's done an incredible job over the past 6-7 years mapping this out. It's all coming to fruition. These are people that are telling you the truth. Midas Touch, Aaron Parnas, your son, who's just a giant in this space. He is the goddamn media, not mainstream media. So make sure you subscribe to all these people, and let's get Aaron on one of these shows. I would love to talk to him too. It'd be great.
We're actually, me and Aaron have never been live together ever, and a lot
You
of
gonna do it?
people are asking, and we've been talking about, to put together, because he's so crazy busy with. I mean, I literally don't get a chance to speak to him. He's so busy trying to get the information out. He's on all the platforms 24/7. I mean, I tell him you gotta take a break sometimes, but I used to tell him that before he brought me on this platform. Since I've come on this platform, it's like I understand him better now. Now, besides between me and him, it's like, he's number one in Substack right now. I'm number 2, 3. So it kind of feels good, father-son duo. We're out there, try to save our democracy. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, it is a little scary. He's my boy. I love him so much. And watching, knowing the machine he's fighting, and watching the attacks he's getting from Trump, and knowing that some of them, that they tried to use him once before, when they first arrested me, they tried to use him, my wife, my whole family against me. But at the end of the day, I am proud of him as well, because he told me, Dad, I'm not letting them scare me. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going anywhere. The more they try to attack me, the more I'm going to be out there and doing what I can. And I said, you know what, my son, I'm going to join you. So I'm here, and we're going to do it. And until that man leaves the office, where we could, maybe take a break for a little bit and go
to
on
the beach.
vacation, go on vacation or something. But till then, we have a long fight ahead of us, and hopefully, what we're seeing right now. I do want to say this. First of all, for those of you that haven't yet, make sure you follow Dean. I mean, there's nobody out there that could break down the news, give it to you where you could still have a little laugh, and understand it and digest it without sitting there and try to jump off the 3rd floor building. You know what I'm saying to you?
Thank you.
Very few people. So definitely give Dean a follow. And as I said, right now is a very unique situation. I also did not have this on my bingo card, what Trump was going to do with what's happening with MAGA, and then what's transpiring. So right now we need to unite more than ever. We need to get louder more than ever. We need to support each other more than ever, and we need to make sure our voices are heard louder than ever. Because the one thing I will leave you off, and the one important thing that you need to know about Donald Trump is not scared of the media. He's not scared of the DOJ. He's not scared of indictments or other world leaders. His biggest fear is you, the people. His biggest fear is you, the people, standing up, speaking up to him, speaking truth to power. And the louder, the bigger, the stronger we'll get, the quicker we will be able to get our democracy back. So just keep doing what you're doing. Bring 3-4 more people to this platform. Subscribe, pass on, restack the message. And like Dean said, it's not just about hitting those hearts. There's a little button with an arrow there. You know what I say? Well, each and every one of you take that right now. There's a little over 1,000 or 1,200 of you out here right now, and just send it to everybody in your Rolodex on your phone. Just send it to everybody. Let them all get it. Just spat. And they'll thank you for it later. I promise you, because the information you're hearing and getting needs to go out far and wide.
Lev, always a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend. You have a great week, great work this weekend, as always, and you and I are going to catch up in the coming days, I'm sure.
Absolutely. If something breaks, we'll definitely go live like we always
Call
do.
me.
If not,
Yeah.
if
Call
not,
me.
I'll definitely call you. But if not, everybody, this is our slot. Mondays, 1:00. Me and Dean. Dean's gonna work on some funny name for us, so this way we're gonna get a show going. But I think we definitely, between the stuff that I'm hearing that's still yet to come out between Canada, Greenland, America. I mean, we just it's just crazy how the news cycle changes, and we have to keep our eye on the ball, and that's what we're trying to bring you, to make sure that you don't get distracted and you keep your eye on the ball. Have a great day, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And by the way, for those of you that are interested and want to know what's going on with Ukraine, I am having an emergency 2:30 Voice from Ukraine live. I'm going to do with Alex from Ukraine, where we're going to just digest and go into everything, Russia, Ukraine, the press conference, all of that, more in detail. So if you guys want to, definitely come join us. Subscribe. I'll see you there. Dean, love you, brother. Me and you'll be on the phone.
Love you too, pal. Talk to you soon. Have a great show. I'll see you at 2:30. Lev Parnas, ladies and gentlemen, give him a follow. Paid or free, doesn't matter. He's a voice that matters. And he knows when you know. That whole saying. Huh? Head on a swivel, kids. We live in a very distracting time. And Donald Trump is the king of it. Doesn't matter what it is. Epstein files, distraction. Ukraine, distraction. And the only way you're going to make sense to people in your universe, and the only way that we are going to affect change together, is by turning MAGA against them. And that only happens with information. Make sure you share some Trusted Truth Teller subscriptions here on Substack with as many people as you can right now. If you go to deanblundell.substack.com, you can get 35% off your annual subscription for life. That's right. You never pay more than 35% off, and it's incredibly inexpensive to do. It keeps us in business, keeps us telling the truth, keeps us entertaining you, and it keeps us together. Would really encourage you to go and subscribe, free or paid. Doesn't matter, to any one of the people that you can trust, because you can bear the information out like you can here today. DeanBlundell.substack.com, LevParnas.substack.com. I'll be back at 3:00 with the 5 Stack, the 5 biggest stories you need to know today, with my friend and Substack Live partner, Zev Shalev from narrative.org, who's got a great piece on the history of how Jeffrey Epstein turned into Jeffrey Epstein, and then how this whole thing turned into the Trump Epstein files. So we'll see you at 3:00. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you very much for your support. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.